Na próxima semana prosseguimos com a apresentação de filmes integrados no ciclo Retratos a Preto e Branco. O título previsto é A Minha Prima Raquel, uma realização de Henry Coster, com Olivia de Havilland e Richard Burton nos principais papéis. A adaptação de um romance de Daphne du Maurier, A Minha Prima Raquel, fica assim a meio caminho entre Rebeca e o Monte dos Vendavais. Interessante como irá ver.
Where's your father? Here I am. What's the trouble? Another letter. I want you to hear it yourself. My dearest boy, all is not well with me. Better keep silent, though. She watches me all the time. I have written to you several times, but there is no one here I can trust. And unless I can get out myself to post the letters, they may not reach you. Since my illness, this has been more difficult than ever. As for the doctors, I have no belief in any of them. They are all liars. And the new one, recommended by her friend Rinaldi, I'm sure is a complete cutthroat. But then he would be coming from that quarter. However, they have taken on a dangerous proposition in me, and I will beat them yet. Ambrose. Look at the writing.
I can't believe it.
Can't believe what?
It's not the letter of a man in his right senses.
That's not it. There have been hints before in exactly the same tone. There is nothing the matter with Ambrose's mind.
You may not know this, but Ambrose's father died of a tumor on the brain. It was never a matter much discussed in the family, and I've no idea whether these things are hereditary or not, nor do the doctors seem to know. The only other possibility I can think of, and one which I would infinitely prefer, is that Ambrose was drunk when he wrote this letter.
I've never seen Ambrose drunk in my life.
Nor I. I was merely trying to choose the better of two evils.
Well, whatever the truth, we'll know it soon. I'm leaving for Florence first thing tomorrow morning.
Entre as estreias da semana em salas de cinema, dois títulos a merecerem destaque. O primeiro é Carlito, Perseguido pelo Passado, de Brian De Palma, com Al Pacino, Sean Penn e Penelope Miller. Brian De Palma de regresso ao que parece ser o seu tema de eleição nos últimos anos. O submundo do crime, que já abordara em filmes como Scarface, A Força do Poder e Os Intocáveis.
As his first projects in Scent of a Woman, Oscar winner Al Pacino chose Carlito's Way, in which he plays Carlito Brigante, a Puerto Rican gangster trying against the odds to retire from his life of crime. For Brian De Palma, the director of Scarface and The Untouchables, this is a new angle on the ever-popular gangster story.
It's about a man that's trying to not pick up the gun, a man that's trying to avoid being drawn back into the gangster life that he lived before he went to prison.
I changed, and it didn't take no 30 years like your honor thought, but only 5. That's right, sir. 5 years, and look at me. Completely rehabilitated, reinvigorated, reassimilated, and finally going to be relocated.
It is a gangster film, and it's kind of a traditional one where you're dealing with the gangster that is in his late 40s, has been sprung from jail on a technicality, and has a chance to lead a better life with the woman he loves. If he can only get his $75,000 out of this club he's managing and get out of New York and to the Bahamas. However, everything he was ever brought up with, everything he ever learned is going to get him shot or killed.
Hey, Mr. Brigante, it's the second time you turned me down for a drink, man. Well, you don't like my champagne?
Hey, could be.
I don't know, maybe it's a misunderstanding here. I don't know, man. Maybe you don't remember me. My name is Benny.
Maybe I don't give a... Maybe I don't remember the last time I blew my nose either.
Carlito is the creation of Edwin Torres, the renowned New York State Supreme Court Justice, who's the author of the 2 highly praised books on which the film is based. John Leguizamo, who plays the younger gangster Benny Blanco in the film, knows that Judge Torres writes from vivid experience of the barrio.
Edwin Torres took his life. He grew up there and escaped and made himself one of the most respected judges. But he came from that world, and basically, I mean, not to take away from his talent at all, I mean, but it's like a tape recorder, like a video camera, that put it all on paper. he was there and captured it all, and then he fictionalized to protect the guilty and the innocent and whatever, and himself changed names. But that life and the vocabulary, the language, and the way of living, the codes, he just put it down there.
I wanted to have that ring, that indelible ring, which I have in my inner ear, I think, because of my vast experience. I mean, I've been 35 years in the criminal justice system, and before that, maybe 30 years on the streets of the barrio. I think I've absorbed quite a bit by now.
I remember Eddie Torres giving me one of the books in 1978, and I remember reading it at the time, thinking, it'd be interesting to, to make a movie.
By dint of coincidence, Al Pacino used to work out with me at the Y, and I gave him the galleys to read because he was asking me about a film that he was shooting, and we got to be friends, so to speak. And eventually it came to pass, and lo and behold, with Al Pacino himself.
Your boss is dead, and so are you!
He still has his incredible intensity about the material he's working on. He's very focused on the part, the character, the script. We rehearse, we rewrite. We're constantly trying to improve it as the movie goes on. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week thing for him. And his concentration is always makes it better.
You do the thing. You know what I mean? I do the thing. I do it when I go to work, I do it. When I'm off work, I'm like this. You see why I work.
It was a wonderful experience to see him pick up many of the nuances and subtleties of the character as we went along. And he's just such a great actor. I mean, he met a lot of these guys I introduced him to, and I'm sure he internalized all of this stuff. And when I saw him on the screen, I said, Jesus, right off the block, right off the street.
The thing was interesting that it parallels my own life. I mean, here I am, younger than Pacino, starting out, wanting to have the same talent, the same career as Pacino. And here I'm in the movie playing a gangster who wants to have the same career as Carlito, admiring, respecting him, and wanting to get the same, reciprocate the same feelings. And so there we are, the same lives paralleling.
You a lawyer, man. What is happening to you? I don't know.
Sean Penn is almost unrecognizable as Dave Kleinfeld, the lawyer who's at once Carlito's salvation and his downfall. Pacino himself is unstinting in praise of his younger co-star.
He's just all actor. He's all movie. He's all about what we're going to do, and he's completely giving and generous, and I can't say enough about him in that way, so it's a learning experience with Sean.
I'm in trouble. I mean, I'm in trouble here. You are the only person on earth that I can trust.
It's the Casablanca, it's the High Sierra, it's the guy that's trying to change his life, has a romantic cynic beyond all cynics that's reaching out for that rainbow, and he's usually embodied in a woman.
It's true in gangster movies, there's usually sort of, the sex object or the girlfriend for that aspect of the movie, but she's certainly, there's much more to her. There's a lot more power and strength to her character than that. She's really sort of the moral conscience of the movie. I mean, she tells him what's going to happen, and it does. She's very smart and perceptive.
I know how this dream ends, Charlie. It isn't in paradise. It ends with me carrying you into an emergency room at 3 o'clock in the morning and standing there crying like an idiot while your shoes filled with blood and you die.
Brian De Palma has a justified reputation as one of the great cinema stylists.
I saw the movie and didn't realize that he didn't make one cut 5 minutes. I didn't even see that. See, there's one thing when you see a camera move and you see the camera move. That's something that sort of annoys me. But when you don't know that that's what's going on, when it just is happening, then I think it served a purpose.
Shootouts in railway stations have been a De Palma trademark since Blowout and The Untouchables, and Carlito's Way also has its thrilling climax in Grand Central Station.
he lost?
No, we didn't lose him. Good moron, he's up top someplace. Come on, move, move. Do you hear me? Move!
When you have a shootout or a confrontation, you try to find a space that lends itself to kind of exciting visual storytelling. They kind of got used to having us around at 3 in the morning. It's kind of quiet there in the middle of the night. We had a lot of, cooperation from them, and besides setting fire to the dust underneath the escalators a few times, everything went perfectly fine.
But it's not just action set pieces. De Palma also brings a trademark intensity to intimate scenes, such as this one between Pacino and Penelope Ann Miller.
Surprise.
I'm saying no, Charlie.
What can I do?
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna bust the chain? Chase me around the apartment? Get me naked? Take me on the floor?
I'm too old for that.
Oh, that's too bad. If you can't get in, you don't get in. The way he filmed it made it more intense and more powerful because he kept the camera so close on our faces in between the chain on the door, and the way in which he had me walk to the mirror and start to kind of undress and take my robe off and then walk away so that he can see me through the mirror. So he directed it very sort of provocatively and very interestingly so that there was much more impact, there. So I think I really would owe that scene. I give credit to Brian De Palma.
I think it's a dream just to be able to keep making movies. The fact that I've been making them for almost 25, 30 years, it's a miracle. I'm still alive and still working and still making movies that hopefully get better.
Outra estreia da semana é O Bom Filho, de Good Son, um título de Joseph Ruben com Macaulay Culkin. O menino prodígio de Sozinho em Casa, aqui num filme de registro um pouco diferente. Aparentemente, Henry é uma criança como qualquer outra, mas por detrás daquele rosto inocente, que segredos se escondem? Eis uma boa oportunidade para se saber se o menino prodígio de Hollywood só sabe mesmo perseguir atarantados larápios em noites de Natal, ou se tem talento para outro tipo de personagens.
Could a face this innocent, a boy this young, a child this loved, really be so bad?
Guess you don't know me very well.
Macaulay Culkin plays in a movie that will shock you, scare you, and surprise you. The Good Son, directed and produced by Joe Ruben.
I think The Good Son, at its core, is about evil. Evil in an unexpected place, a beautiful, charming 12-year-old boy.
After Mark loses his mother, his father sends him for a short stay with his cousin Henry, played by Macaulay Culkin.
Here, made 2 of them, so we could be brothers.
What's, for me, so challenging about the movie is that Mac is this sunny, very upbeat, very positive kid, and yet he's playing the dark side of all this. One of the main reasons I did the movie was to take Mac and flip people's perception of him.
Henry's a different role for me, but I'm having a lot of fun playing a bad boy.
And action! This scene we're doing between Mac and Elijah takes place early in the movie. It's the first time we get a sense that the character Mac plays is a little bit different, is a little bit dangerous.
If I let you go, you think you could fly?
That's when the story shifts from a kind of an emotional drama into a very tense psychological thriller.
Playing opposite Macaulay in the role of Mark is Elijah Wood.
In reality, Mark is the good son. He's an essentially completely decent kid who's just lost his mother and is separated from his father. As the movie goes on, he's the one who finds out who Mac really is.
I didn't know you were going to do that. I feel sorry for you, Mark. Just don't know how to have fun. You're sick. Hey, I promised you something amazing. Something you'll never forget. Where's the gratitude?
The movie's basically about me trying to convince everybody that he's twisted up.
I think as a kid, you're always worried that you won't be believed or understood.
Susan becomes genuinely attached to her nephew Mark, but refuses to accept his allegations against Henry.
Henry is my son. He's my little boy, and I love him. Don't ever come to me with these lies again. Mac is the perfect child, you know, so why would you believe it when some stranger comes to your home and tells you that your very perfect golden boy's son is an axe murderer?
Henry, go to bed.
Susan is indeed a wonderful, warm, loving mother. She then becomes torn between ultimately believing Mark and believing Henry, her real son.
Joe Rubin is best known for his psychological thrillers, Sleeping with the Enemy and The Stepfather.
We were thrilled to get Joe. I mean, he's great with the children.
I thought this was going to be something of a nightmare, making a movie with two 12-year-old leads.
It's very cold out here today. I love this snow.
You know.
I walked on the set and Joe goes, well, no more snowball fights, that's it.
They're both really good actors.
Yes.
And they're both very focused. You're the worst.
You're a
worst
bad
boy.
man,
You're
Joe.
the worst boy in the world. They're like grown-ups.
Joe is so funny.
Come on, I got something to show you in the shed.
We became really good friends.
Yeah, no, we gotta go, dude. That's gonna be so cool.
While safety is his primary concern, for authenticity, Rubin is shooting on location and letting the kids do their own stunts.
We're trying to do everything real. Do it with the real kids, the real height. Jack Gill is the stunt coordinator, and he's been working with Mac and Elijah, getting them comfortable in the safety rigs, getting them comfortable with climbing and dangling.
We have a lot of fun, like we jump off this high thing and like bounce up before you hit the ground.
They can climb up from the bottom to the top as many times as they want and also make all the mistakes they want. And they're always in the safety margin. They can't fall.
And we were hanging and swinging, and it was a lot of fun.
Mac and Elijah are both very athletic, very gutsy, too gutsy.
He just taught me all these stuff, like to jump and like swing around.
The cable that we have him on will withstand 920 pounds, so we've gone way over the margin here.
And what's that you have in your hand?
A beaner. Something
What did the beaner do?
Saved my life.
The guy at the lab said to the cameraman, "What are you guys doing with those kids? That looks really dangerous." And we loved when we heard this, because the goal of all this is to make it physically safe, but look on screen very dangerous. If we can pull it off, it's just much more exciting than if you do it with effects.
Macaulay's real-life sister, Quinn Culkin, plays the part of Connie, whose life becomes threatened when her older brother Henry gets jealous.
We're doing a scene where Mac takes his younger sister skating.
He throws me in the ice. And I just don't throw him.
No, don't follow, don't follow.
They had to push me so it looked like I slid there all the way.
And let go.
Win, that was terrific.
The skating stuff is pretty involved because we're dealing with a 6-year-old girl that has to fall through the real ice.
Okay, great. Thank you.
We're still dealing with temperatures of 42, 43 degrees water.
I freak out, and I run to try and save Connie.
She went through the ice! Somebody's in the water!
Henry's your average American boy, but when he does something bad, he doesn't feel guilt. He doesn't feel bad about it.
That's what Henry is a child without a conscience.
It becomes a struggle between two kids, ultimately life and death struggle.
It is the good son, and which one is the good son?
He scares me sometimes.
He just does a lot of evil things. What if there was this boy, and he did these terrible things because he liked doing them? Would you say he was evil?
I don't believe in evil.
You should.
A true cliffhanger till the very end. The Good Son.
Passemos ao vídeo e a alguns dos mais recentes lançamentos de filmes no circuito português de venda direta. E começamos por uma obra-prima de Luquino Visconti, Sentimento, editada pela Pris Vídeo. Alida Valli e Farley Granger são os protagonistas deste que continua a ser, possivelmente, um dos meus 10 filmes preferidos de sempre. Não é preciso dizer mais nada.
Ma quando rividi quell'ufficiale, capii che era lui la causa delle mie apprensioni. E che per molti giorni io non avevo fatto altro che temere quell'incontro.
Contessa Serpieri.
Che cosa vuole?
Mi permette di farle da scorta in questo quartiere?
No, grazie, tenente Mahler.
Ma c'è il coprifuoco a Venezia ed è già molto tardi.
Vuol forse farmi arrestare perché sono in giro durante il coprifuoco?
Non ho mai fatto arrestare nessuno per così piccole infrazioni ai regolamenti.
Cosa ne pensa dell'arresto di Roberto Ussoni?
Oh, è stato arrestato. Credevo gli avessero fatto cambiare aria per un po'.
Lo hanno mandato in esilio e lei lo sa.
Lei pensa che sia colpa mia, ma le assicuro che ha torto. Spero che lei mi creda. E poi quell'Ussoni ne sarà soddisfatto. Mi sembra il tipo nato apposta per sacrificarsi per qualche nobile causa.
E lei è nato apposta per che cosa?
Per essere quello che sono.
Per essere quello che è. Buonanotte.
Non crede che sarebbe stato molto meglio se mi avesse detto l'altra sera all'opera che quell'Ussoni era il suo amante? E che desiderava facessi di tutto per farlo rimanere a Venezia?
Un uomo con un minimo di educazione non approfitterebbe del fatto che sono sola per insultarmi.
Danny Kaye é um ator notável, um cómico de talento multifacetado que nos deixou uma obra não muito vasta em cinema, mas quase toda ela editada pela Luz ao Mundo na sua coleção Samuel Goldwyn. Depois de O Super-Homem, O Professor de Música, Christian Andersen e O Príncipe da Paródia, chegou a vez de uma das obras mais divertidas de Danny Kaye, O Homem das Sete Vidas, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, de Norman MacLeod, com Virginia Mayo e Boris Karloff. Danny Kaye interpreta a figura de um sonhador que vai vivendo sonhos, desmultiplicando-se por inúmeras vidas e variadíssimas personagens.
Not so fast. You're driving too fast. What are you driving so fast for? Well, you were up to 35. You know I don't like to go over 30, and you were up to 35. Walter, you're always doing something else and having your mind on something else.
I'm sorry, Mother.
Besides, you haven't been listening to a single word I said.
Yes, I have, Mother.
What did I say?
Well, you said I was up to 35, and you didn't like me to go over 30.
Not that. I said we're going to have it in a church.
Have what, Mother?
The wedding.
Oh.
See, you weren't listening. Red light, Walter. Oh, that reminds me. Bring me home some soap chips. I like the Seadrift brand. They don't make you sneeze. Go ahead, Walter. Now, don't forget the name. Seadrift. Seadrift.
Seadrift. Seadrift. Somewhere off the South China coast in the worst typhoon in 40 years, the little schooner India Queen plowed through an ocean gone mad. Straining pumps went to pocket, to pocket, to pocket, to pocket. Up on deck, Captain Walter Mitty stood at the helm, fighting courageously to keep his tortured vessel from being smashed to bits.
What are you doing here? Get below!
Can't I do something to help? You haven't had your clothes off in 3 days.
India Queen through, there's $500,000 of rare spices aboard this ship. I promised your father I'd get it through.
Captain Mitty, you're hurt.
It's nothing, just a broken arm.
Watch out!
E agora que surge em salas de cinema uma nova criação de Macaulay Culkin, é a altura de referir o lançamento em venda direta de Sozinho em Casa, o primeiro, produzido por John Hughes e realizado por Chris Columbus, e que é definitivamente bem melhor que o segundo. Já sabem, a família partiu de férias e deixou Kevin sozinho em casa. Casa que uns desajeitados larápios procuram assaltar, esquecendo-se que o puto está lá em casa para o que der e vier. Pois bem, chegamos ao fim e temos 15 cassetes para distribuir esta semana entre os nossos espectadores. Basta escreverem-nos, como sempre, darem-nos a sua opinião sobre o filme que acabaram de ver, esta noite foi Os Inocentes, e enviarem a carta até quinta-feira próxima para Lauro António Apresenta, apartado, atenção que esta semana o apartado mudou. Agora é o 8.352.804 Lisboa Codex, repito, apartado 8.352.804 Lisboa Codex. Esta semana volta a haver muito por onde escolher, 5 cassetes de Sozinho em Casa oferecidas por Castelo Lopes Vídeo, 5 cassetes de O Homem das 7 Vidas cedidas por Luz ao Mundo Vídeo e ainda 5 cassetes de Sentimento facultadas pela Pris Vídeo. O espectador pode mesmo mencionar a sua primeira preferência, as cartas que chegarem primeiro, já sabem, podem escolher. Os nomes dos felizes contemplados da semana anterior estão agora a passar em rodapé e vão receber na volta do correio a casseta que têm direito. Para a semana há mais, como sempre, conto com a sua companhia. Até para a semana, muito boa noite.